So
Mm,
we were kind of thinking we'd be on the road 2 years. We didn't want money for things like storage to be the thing that was the breaking point. So we tried to set ourselves up to be as financially free as far as bills could go. Like we've been on the road 18 months and the business has been with us that whole time. But over the 18 months, we've experienced like a significant amount of growth in the business. So
mm.
what it requires of me has changed significantly. So I've had to adapt over time. And yeah, owning a business is not for the faint-hearted and it really just consumes you. So I think it
Mm.
would be the same whether we were on the road or whether we're stationary.
Just jumping in before the episode starts, just to let you know that Tara is offering a fantastic discount and savings. So listen to the end of the episode so you can pick up some of those savings. Welcome back to another episode of Big Lap Chats. And today I have a special guest. And we've just worked out that we're only probably 20 minutes away from each other. And it's Tara Cameron Smith from Dreamer RV. Thanks for joining me today, Tara. I know you're busy, so I really appreciate it.
That's okay. It's my pleasure. As I was just saying to you, what a lovely way to take an hour out of my workday. You about travel.
Yeah, it's a subject that never gets old, is it?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you can talk for days about, all the little details about travel and everybody's experience is different, which is what makes it so interesting. So,
Mm-hmm.
as much as we talk about it with other travelers, everyone's experience, how they got to traveling, where they've been, where they're going, yeah,
Yeah.
varies so much from one person to the next.
Yeah. And I know you've told me just before we came on air, you've been travelling now for quite a while, since 2016. What kicked it all off for you back then?
I think Jim and I have talked about travel a lot, I guess, since we were young. We met when we were really young. We were teenagers. I won't take you
Mm-hmm.
through the whole story of our whole life story, but we have been together for a really long time. So we'd always talked about traveling Australia. We've never had a real passion for overseas travel. We've done a little bit, but yeah, we did have this, I guess we both had this shared passion to one day see more of Australia. It wasn't until we had our first two sons that I think we really got inspired to make a change and just shake up our lifestyle. I remember we kind of both hit breaking point at the same time. Jim had worked away for about 8 months, just like in a fly in, fly out capacity, and we had two young kids at home. And we really just felt like we were working just to pay the bills. We're working just to pay the mortgage, pay the bills. I felt like I was solo parenting so much of the time. And we really just had this crunching moment where we just went, what are we doing? Like, what are we doing here? Is this how it's meant to be? It felt really monotonous. We were both stressed and we just didn't feel like we were getting enough out of life, enough time with our kids and enough time together. We've done everything we've ever done. We've been attached at the hip since we met as teenagers. Everyone we know can vouch for that. We've been pretty much inseparable. So I think that 8 months of fly in, fly out, that was the longest we'd ever been apart in our long-term relationship. And I think that was the breaking point. We just went, we're not meant to be doing this apart, like we've built a life together, we've got a family, we want to all be together. So from that day when we actually decided, and this is true Jim and I style, from that day, it was 3 months from that day to when we're actually driving out the driveway.
Wow.
So we kind of had this mentality of like, look, if I'm a really organized person and a big, like I said, not a big planner. We set a lot of goals, but I'm a very organized person. We just realized it was going to be chaos whether we took 12 months to pack our life up or did it in 3 months. The last 3 months was always going to be chaos. So we decided to just compress it and just get it done.
Mm-hmm.
We'd never towed a caravan, never owned a caravan, never owned a four-wheel drive. So there was so much to learn and so much to do. We had to get our house ready to rent. We sold both our regular cars and bought a Land Cruiser. We bought a Jayco Expander. So that was our little setup, 100 series Land Cruiser and Jayco Expander on our first year on the road. And it was
Mm-hmm.
just perfect for us at the time. And it was just all systems go. Jim was still working away during that time. I remember having a yard sale without him there and just it was manic. I look back and think, I had two young kids on my hips and I just think, wow, like the pack up nearly killed us. It was absolutely crazy, but So worth it once we got to the flip side. We did a crash course in caravan towing, which I recommend to everybody. We went up to Gympie and well, I wanted us to both be really confident towing and reversing the caravan. I just needed that peace of mind to know, I
Mhm.
didn't want it to all fall on Jim. I thought, if he
Yeah.
was to be injured or ill or something, I wanted us to both be confident. So we did do a crash course and we learned so much from that. So yeah, that was really great. But that's what kind of kicked us off. And we thought originally it was just going to be a 12-month trip. And it was a 12-month trip, but I fell pregnant with our third son halfway through that trip, which was completely unplanned. So we ended up coming home to welcome a new baby.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
fantastic. And what's your setup now? Because from the time Cohen, isn't it? The baby,
Yeah,
or the
Cohen.
baby
Yep.
then, he's now
Yeah, it's
what,
not a
5 years
baby
old?
now. He's 8 now.
He's 8 years old.
Yeah.
Gosh.
He's all arms and legs. He's no baby. Yeah.
In those 8 years, what happened? So you had Cohen, and then how long was it before you decided to get back on the road again?
It was a few years in between. So we came
Mm-hmm.
back, we had Cohen. I think it was probably when Cohen got to about 6 months old, and I kind of broke out of that newborn fog. And yeah, we both went, we're just back doing what we were. We were actually back in the same house. So the tenants had moved
Oh,
out, we'd moved back into our same house. So it was felt kind of like Groundhog Day. Like
day,
we're
yeah.
back, we've gone full circle. We're just back where we started. And it was just the same thing. Jim was actually working in Brisbane, which was great. So he wasn't doing fly in, fly out, but he works in construction and tunneling specifically, which is just incredibly taxing on the family. Like, yeah, it can be 60 hours plus of shift work. So we were on these crazy rotating night shift, day shift rosters, and same thing, young kids, school, sport. And it was like we were like passing ships in the night most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Someone asleep, who's awake, who's asleep, who's doing what. So yeah, it wasn't long before we kind of started talking about it again. We still had the Jayco at that stage with us, and we actually put it on Camplify, which turned out to be a really great little venture for us. So I managed that while Jim was working, and I had some wild times. I had a baby in the bouncer, and I'm cleaning and detailing and doing handovers with people with babies strapped to my back. I know I look back on some of the things we did and I can only laugh. We're real doers. But we put the van on Camplify and that actually allowed us to save a fair bit of money from doing that. And we put that towards upgrading the van. So we kind of made that decision and went, look, I think we're going to get back on the road again. That's our happy place. But we knew that a year wasn't long enough. So the first trip, we kind of did the half circle
Mm-hmm.
where we just went through the guts and we did Uluru, Cooper Pedy, Outback South Australia, all of that kind of stuff. But we never actually made it to Western Australia. So we've come back going, okay, if we're going to do this, the pack up is absolutely killer. Packing up your life when you've got 3 kids and a house full of stuff. We knew what we were getting into, so it was quite daunting doing it again. We actually decided 12 months isn't enough. So
Yep.
we were quite strategic with the pack up second time around, and we knew it was going to be for 2 years minimum this time because we just thought for all the pain and heartache of packing your life up, 1 year is just not enough time
Yep.
on the road. So yeah, thankfully, Jim is a rigger, so that was what was funding our travels originally. And this is such a commonly asked question. When you're looking inside the caravan forums, how do you fund your travels? What do you do for work? And that's going to vary from person to person, but he's a rigger and he was doing short casual contracts. So those jobs that were taking him fly in, fly out, he was actually taking short contracts strategically around the country, like in the direction we were headed. So we've never really done a straight lap, I would say. We've been kind of here, there, back forwards a little bit depending on work, but that thankfully that was what funded our trip for the first and second round. So yeah, we did a mix of stationary time while Jim worked and yeah, then we were all on holidays and we just enjoy the time in between, which was really awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So those
Yeah.
times in between, I guess you were parked up with the kids, were you?
Yeah, parked up with
Somewhere?
the kids.
Yep.
That's when we did most of our schooling. Yeah, so we'd kind of just knuckle down, get as much money in the bank as we could. We just had that mentality, just build the bank up again because the more money we could stash away, the longer
The
we could
longer.
last without working again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we had the trusty 100 series for that whole 2 years as well. And
Hmm.
honestly, we'd probably still have it now if it kept kicking. We absolutely loved that car and it was so good to us. But we upgraded the van to a Majestic Navigator. So it was a semi
Okay.
off road van. It was 22 foot, I believe, triple bunk. Yeah, after having the expander, I just thought, 2 years on the road, I would just love a hard-bodied van where we
Yeah.
were not popping the beds out at the end and little things I dreamed about, like sitting up in my bed without hitting my head on the canvas and just a few little things that we kind of went, look, if this is going to be home for 2 years, let's do it. So for that 2 year trip, that was actually just the perfect setup for us. I even look at the setup we have now compared to that. I look back at that 2 years in time and go, gosh, that van was perfect for us. With the
Yeah.
kids, the age they were, and that kind of thing. We really nailed it.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, the setups have changed.
Yeah, what's your setup now?
Set up now, we're in a Lotus off grid, so it's 23.5 foot. It's
Hmm.
got the bunks at the rear, which has been great. My 15-year-old is so tall, he's as tall as
Yeah.
Jim now.
Wow.
Um, so the length of the beds for the kids was one of the major factors, and the only way you can really get those 7 foot long beds is if you put them along the rear. So that's how we've kind of ended up with this layout. And we are towing now with an Isuzu MPS. So
Hmm.
the tow vehicle has changed significantly. In between that, we actually had a Y62,
Yeah.
Nissan Y62, and absolutely loved it. Loved it. And I'd get another one in a heartbeat, to be honest. But we just, with the size of the van now and all of the fishing gear that we seem to, and stuff we seem to carry around with us, we decided to go for the truck, mainly for storage,
Mm.
just towing capability. And yeah, we absolutely love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we love our 62 too, but we only tow like a 20-foot caravan. Yeah, 23, 24 is pushing it a bit with a standard wagon, isn't it?
It really is pushing it. And I mean, our experience from our last trip was just always watching weights. We're always thinking, oh, we overloaded. Have we added too much stuff? And this makes most people laugh, and we can only laugh. So we kind of had this mentality when we decided to buy the MPS. We thought, let's just go up to a commercial truck and then we never have to worry about weight. Like we just
Hmm.
thought it would be something we never even talk about. We went to actually pull out of Jim's parents' property to leave for this trip fully loaded and thought, let's just go over the weighbridge at Yandina. It's 20 minutes south and we were
Hmm.
kind of backtracking, but we thought, let's do it, print the paper, because we like to do it every couple of months officially over the weighbridge and we keep the paperwork, just stored in the truck, just
Hmm.
in case we ever get pulled over, or we just like to have the record there for ourselves. We're all packed, said our goodbyes, everyone's drying their tears. We head south to go to the weighbridge, and we're not overweight, but we were only 200 kilos right up to our GCM, and we hadn't even done a full grocery shop. Like, we knew we weren't fully loaded in there. So back we go with the towel between our legs, back to the in-laws, and we spend the next 3 hours just pulling stuff out of the van and out of the truck, and we just had to be absolutely ruthless. So
Yeah.
we would have taken like 400 or 500 kilos of stuff out, I think. So yeah, ironically enough, even with a commercial truck, we still have to watch our weight. We still have to watch the GCM. So weight is still a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. My theory is if there is space, you're going to fill it, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's dangerous in a way because we've got these amazing canopies that open up either side with just all of this storage space. But the reality is, if that's full, like the
Mm,
weight is off the Richter. We've
right.
also got a tinny this time, which we didn't have last time, and that's been a real game changer.
Has it?
So we love having the tinny. Yeah, Jim and the boys are right into their fishing, so
Oh, cool.
it's really taken their fishing adventures and just, I guess, all of our time. It's taken it to a new level where we can get to and what we can do out on the water, snorkeling spots, and yeah, it's been amazing. But yeah, again, that's adding a lot of weight. You've got the boat loader, all the bits and pieces, the motor and everything. So yeah, there's a
Yeah.
bit going on in the
Yeah.
truck and in the van. So yeah, we're still watching the weight,
Yeah.
still watching it.
And can I ask, was it worth it getting the boat for the fishing haul?
For us, 100% worth
Yeah.
it.
So they're
Jim
good
takes his
Good fishermen?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, they are. So Jim has got his own little Instagram page. I'm a bit more of a private creature, so you won't see me on there. And we don't show our family travels like document it publicly or anything like that. But Jim does have his own Instagram, which is probably not to everybody's taste. But if anybody wants to follow it's called, you can find him at Jimmy Primal on Instagram. But yeah, he's got, well, we both do, a bit of a wicked sense of humor, and he's just kind of brings light to the funny side of travel and maybe the things people aren't talking about all the time. But a lot of his page is fishing as well. So him and our eldest son Bodhi, they just live and breathe fishing. They take their fishing very
Oh, cool.
serious. One side of the fishing canopy is all fishing. So he calls it his man cave. You open the open the canopy doors and it's got all the fishing rods like hung up there and fishing reel storage, and it's been designed around the fishing. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, those two are in their absolute element, and the tinny was kind of a non-negotiable for us this time because the
Yeah.
last trip 2019 2020 we did Western Australia. We actually spent most of that trip in Western Australia, and we wished we had a tinny so bad. So it's been good to kind of redo the West Coast with the boat
Yeah,
because it's just been a completely different experience.
I bet.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yes, and where we are at the moment, Geraldton Way, I think uh, Kev went out on a lobster boat and picked up 7 lobsters from the
Oh,
time he was
wow.
on that. It's a mecca for really good seafood, isn't it?
It is. It's cray country here. This whole stretch of coast is cray country. So yeah, we have found a few crays. The
Oh,
boys haven't been out since we've been at the farm. We've been so busy painting, sanding, decking,
yeah.
doing working. There
All
hasn't
the
been that
things.
much fishing. Yeah, all the things. But yeah, we're looking forward to all that kind of stuff. Like this patch of coast is great. You got the
Mm,
Abrolhos Islands just off the coast here, which I would love to see one day, but obviously the tinny won't get us there.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the West Coast is just insane. There's just oh, it's insane. Like the fishing compared to the East Coast is you can't even compare. The
Oh,
fishing is amazing. So East Coast, the boys say they catch hardly anything, and over here it's just absolutely incredible. Yeah,
oh,
yep.
oh, there you go. Taz on us, hey?
Yeah, it definitely does. The fishing over here is fabulous. Yeah, and the coastline's just incredible, as you know.
Mm,
But yeah, so we
mm,
do. I mean, the West has really stole our heart, and if it wasn't so far from our family, we would probably settle here. But
yeah.
I think the crunch point was we just are too far from everyone. And we've gone back east. I've had to go back east quite a few times for work, and we've gone back earlier this year for a funeral, and it's just so far. And I think, it's so far. 5 hour flight really from Perth to Brisbane, and the cost is huge. So to see our family, I just don't think it would happen that much. So yeah, that's what's pulled us back to the East Coast. And
Yeah.
Queensland's not so shabby. We love Queensland. We love
Oh,
Queensland. The
yeah.
weather's fabulous in Queensland.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah.
100%. What's the one thing most lappers overlook that could make or break their entire journey, do you think?
Oh, that's an interesting one. Look, I'm going to say we've definitely met people in our travels who have maybe, in our experience, if your relationship with your spouse is not fabulous, you're going to figure it out pretty quick. It can be a bit of a pressure cooker situation. So we've seen some marriages crumble on the road. And yeah, if your communication isn't great and you're not open to just adapting to a completely different lifestyle, you probably won't survive it. But on the flip side of that, I think it's a real fast track way to grow closer to your family and to your spouse. So that's what we love most about it. We just love the time we get with the kids, the time we get with each other. But yeah, that is a really foreign feeling, I think, for a lot of families, especially these days. You know, what normal life looks like. You've normally got two working parents, you've
Mm-hmm.
got kids in school, potentially before and after school care. And it's a totally different dynamic when you
Yep.
hit the road. All of a sudden, everybody's in this little tin can together, and you've got no personal space, no time out, and everyone's trying to adapt. And yeah, like it can be rough. So I would just say don't underestimate that period, initial period. Like everything changes. So
Mm.
you need to go easy on yourself, easy on each other, and really commit to it, really lean into it, and open lines of communication, you know, just be kind to each other because the good, bad, and the ugly, I guess. Like, Jim and I absolutely thrive together, but we've just seen so many varying relationships. So people that we've gotten close to on the road without scaring anybody. We've seen one guy taken to the nut house. Like him and his wife, we were parked up next to these people. It's a bit of a wild story, but we'd hear them kind of having a blue every night, and we got friendly with them kind of thing, but they were really new to it,
Hmm.
and they were just in that transition period and they just didn't survive it. He just couldn't handle no personal space, and it just got really intense. So that's the really extreme end of the spectrum, but I think everybody experiences an adjustment period to some extent. So don't underestimate it. If you do embark on full-time travel, if it's just with you and your spouse, or if it's you and your partner and your kids, there is going to be an adjustment period. And we've had it all three times. We have gone from house to van. So you're not immune to it just because you've done it before.
Yep.
You need to just leave space and go, okay, the first month or the first couple of months is going to be everybody just adapting to life in the van again. Yeah,
Yeah, and I think if you can somehow remind each other of that, if things are going a bit haywire, it's just an adaptation time or adaptability, or maybe we need to sit down and have a bit of a chat or go for a walk along the beach or whatever, and just talk about it rather than bury it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But what I can say is once you get to the flip side of that adjustment period, oh gosh, it's amazing. So we've met people who just haven't survived it. You know, they've maybe gotten 4 or 5 weeks in and turned
Mm.
around, and they've
Oh,
just
wow.
gone, no, no way, not for us. We've met a few families that planned, it might have been years in the planning, and they finally got on the road and then turned around and decided it wasn't for them. And maybe it's not for everyone in reality, maybe it's not for everyone, but yeah, there's a real adjustment period, and I would say it pays to persevere with it. It really does, because if you can get to the other side of it, it's just incredible, and you'll just form a bond with your partner and your kids that you probably never could living a normal lifestyle in a
Yeah.
house.
Yeah, because when you think about it, everybody is busy. They're off doing their own thing. They all come together, like you say, they come together and then boom, nowhere to go. You're in the car together. You're in the caravan together. You're going out seeing things together. Everything happens
Yeah,
together.
that's
So,
right. Everything
yeah,
happens together.
there's this expectation too of everything is just, it's like a volcano, really, because it's so hectic leading up to leaving, and you're probably exhausted but excited at the same time because, hey, our dream's coming true, off we go, and then it just falls apart at some stage.
Absolutely. And I think maybe people glorify it a little bit,
Mm,
like it's going to be this magical holiday.
yeah.
But like the reality is, you're not on holidays. It's a change of lifestyle. All the jobs that you have relating to having kids, running a family, they're all
Yes.
still there. You just get to do a lot of fun stuff in between. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the life admin, the dishes,
Mm-hmm.
all of the
The washing.
everything, yeah, all the washing, everything it
Yeah.
takes to run a family, still there. Yeah. And it can take a little bit of time, I guess, to navigate that shift in who does what and
Mm-hmm.
finding a bit of a rhythm within the family just for
Yeah, for
things to
sure.
flow when it gets shaken up. So
Yeah.
it's not a holiday. It's not all beer and Skittles, as I say to people, but as long as you've got that realistic expectation, I think
Yeah.
going into it. Yeah, everyone in the family's got to put in the work to make it work, and then you can all reap the benefits, I guess.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
What's your secret to finding those breathtaking yet under the radar destinations?
Oh, probably talking to other travelers. We found some of the best spots just from talking to other people. Yeah, it's really hard, if you want to use some of those navigation apps like Campedia or Wikicamps. It's great that they've got a platform there for people to leave reviews. But yeah, I don't know. It's so good just talking to other travelers. And really, I think that's helped us narrow down a little bit, what might be worth looking into more. If you get a personal recommendation from someone a little bit of local knowledge is good as well sometimes if you spend enough time in a certain place.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would say that's where we've really found the gems, more
Hmm.
so than researching ourselves online or using apps.
What are your standouts?
Standouts for us, oh, camp places to camp.
Yeah.
You mean? Yeah, standouts. One that has a real place in my heart is a place called.
To hear all the beautiful places that Tara recommends, then head on over to the blccrew.allaroundoz.com.au, where you'll get extended episodes, you'll hear what Tara has to say, and also have access to our interactive free camping map. You can join the BLC crew for less than 2 cups of coffee at a servo. Yeah.
We love the coast. I'm not right into my fishing, but I love snorkeling, love being in the water, under the water, on the water, anything to do with water, I'm
Yep.
in. Yeah, so that's another special one. But gosh, there's so many. That's just a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we rolled into a place. Where were we? Oh, coming across the goldfields. And it was this just a free camp, and it was a dam that used to supply water for the steam engines back in the day, like
Hmm.
way back in the day. And it was so peaceful and beautiful out there. Like, there was nothing there, just a bit of water and some bird life and all of that. But oh gosh, it was so lovely.
Yeah,
It
every
was,
now and then you just get in a place and you can't really put your finger on what it is, can you? But you kind of go,
yeah,
geez, there's something special about this place.
for sure.
There's another one actually, so
Yeah.
that's another little gem, but there's so many of them once you get going.
When's your 3 biggest money saving hacks?
Money saving hacks. I would say when we go and do little bits of shopping bit by bit, we spend so much money. You can imagine with 3 growing boys, a good bill is astronomical. When we hit a major town, I've always been a really big fan of click and collect. When we've been living in normal life, because I really think it helps you to budget, like you do
Mm,
your kind of shopping online and then you just pull in and pick it up. So we tend to be really strategic. If you find an Aldi, which is so rare in in WA, you just got to be strategic. Stock up on your essentials, weight permitted when you can. When you get to these bigger towns and get all of your pastas, flour, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, the grocery bill. Try and stick to a bit of a plan. Try and stick to a bit of a budget with the food because we know it can just blow out so so easily. Try not to buy too much takeout. This would probably be my second tip, even though we need to take some of our own advice more regularly. I'll have to listen to this podcast. Yeah, so takeout. There's always a Roadhouse or a Servo or a chook shop or something tantalizing to grab for lunch when you're on the road, especially when you're doing big driving days. I guess you
mm,
don't feel like pulling over and making lunch, but we try and get in a habit where we do a really big cook up at night, which allows us some leftovers. And
yeah,
yeah, wraps for the win. We just eat so many wraps, they don't go stale. And we put our leftovers with some salad and everything else. So we just pull over if we're doing a driving day, bang it all in a wrap, and everyone's fed. So
yeah,
yeah, the takeout. The third tip, not to do with food, I would say if you are planning whatever time you're planning on the road, try and be clever about your storage, storing your stuff, because the first 12 months we did on the road, we got one of those pods that they just deliver onto your driveway and you fill it and they come and collect it, take it away and store it for you. But the costs actually on a weekly basis for that storage were really high. Being a young family with young kids, we kind of hadn't got to that point where we had forever home, really nice furniture or anything like that. We just had pretty rough stuff because the kids were young and everything has a pretty hard life. So at the end of the 12 months, we kind of opened that container and just went like, why did we even keep this stuff? We've just paid thousands of dollars to store it. It's never the same when you get it out of storage. It's kind of all a bit musty and like,
yeah.
I don't know, like not that great. So, yeah, I would say be clever about what you keep and what you don't keep, and really think of the value of that stuff and whether it's going to be stored, likely stored for a year, 2 years, 3 years. Maybe try and avoid that trap of paying for weekly storage. So,
Mm.
how we did that when we decided to leave for the 2 year trip, we actually bought a shipping container outright. And we utilized Jim's parents are on acreage on the sunny coast. We asked if we could just put that down the back of their block.
Mm.
So even though that was a bit of an investment initially, we knew that kind of gave us an infinite amount of time
Yeah.
without having to stress about a weekly storage bill, even if we calculated the figures, because we wanted that trip to be quite open-ended as well. So
Mm.
we were kind of thinking we'd be on the road 2 years. We didn't want money for things like storage to be the thing that was the breaking point. So we tried to set ourselves up to be as financially free as far as bills could go. And yeah, we still own that shipping container. So I mean it's an asset. We've got stuff stored in it. Still to this day, it's still sitting there. So we've utilized it again for this third big round. But it means no weekly storage costs, which is fabulous. And then when we're
Yeah.
eventually done with it, we can sell it
Hmm.
on.
Great tip. That is a really good tip. So, how do you stay connected and productive on the road without forfeiting the adventure? Because just in a minute or so, we're going to talk about your business and how that developed from being on the road. So, how do you balance all that? Because I know there are people that do work full time on the road and travel as well. And then there are those like yourselves that in the past have stopped for work and parked up and worked. So, how do you manage it?
If I'm going to be completely honest, I'm still figuring it out.
Okay.
It's it's nothing new now. Like we've been on the road 18 months and the business has been with us that whole time. But over the 18 months, we've experienced like a significant amount of growth in the business. So
Mm.
what it requires of me has changed significantly. So I've had to adapt over time. And yeah, owning a business is not for the faint-hearted. And it really just consumes you. So I think it
Mm.
would be the same whether we were on the road or whether we're stationary. It has been a change in dynamic for our family compared to our previous travel because previously we kind of went into work mode for a short period. Jim would go and work, I'd school the kids, and then we'd both feel like we're on holidays in between. So it's very different this time. I'm always working, sometimes 7 days a week, which is crazy.
Mm.
But it kind of ebbs and flows. I really try and set things up so that I can still get out. But in all honesty, I spend a lot of days in the van while Jim and the family are out having a good time and I have to be left behind. But I've got no hard feelings about that. I'm just incredibly grateful that we've been able to create this lifestyle and create a business which is so cohesive with what we love to do. So yeah, it's been amazing. Jim and I have had a complete role reversal in our relationship. So that's been really interesting, but it's been really refreshing. So prior to having the business, I was a stay-at-home mum. That was a conscious decision from both of us. We
Hmm.
really wanted to have a parent at home with the kids. So we made financial sacrifices, I guess, to make that happen. And we were lucky
Yep.
enough that we could pull that off. But I had almost a decade of just being a stay-at-home mum. So it was just cook, clean, kids, all of it. And we've completely flipped that on our head. So Jim resigned from his job before we left for this trip. And we got the business to a point where it could support us both and will support the family. And now he is every bit a house husband or a van husband, I should say. But he keeps me fed when I can't get away from my desk. He schools the kids or assists with their schooling. So we've had an absolute 180-degree flip in our roles in our
Yep.
marriage. But the one word is refreshing. Like it's been great. It's been really great. It took us a while to really find our groove with it, obviously,
Mm.
because it's a massive change.
Hmm.
But now that we're there, we absolutely love it. Yeah. And I love my work. I love what I do.
Yep.
And I'm really happy, I guess, to just be so consumed in it. I feel very lucky. The journey we've had up to now has just been incredible. So I'm thankful every day for it. And the thing is with business, you see a direct correlation with between how much you put in and how much you get out.
Yep.
and it becomes somewhat addictive, especially with a personality like mine. I'm a real perfectionist and I am a real high achiever. So I just have become a real workaholic, but I absolutely love it.
Mm.
And finding the balance is probably the trickiest thing in my life at the moment because, we pull up a lot of the time and some people don't work and they've just got this like, come out, have a beer, or we're making margaritas, like, come out, it's all
Yeah.
fun. And I'm like, oh, I've got
I
to, you know,
can't.
I can't. So there's been a lot of times I've just had to say no to that social side of travel, which is really hard because my life just looks a bit different now to
Yeah.
what it did when we traveled last time. I wouldn't change it for anything. I still absolutely love it. But yeah, even finding the time for me, just for myself is hard enough,
Mm-hmm.
let alone finding the time with the family to enjoy the travel. And sometimes I do have to really give myself a shake up and go, remember why you're doing it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Get out, just get out. Like everything can wait. Just put it on hold for an hour. So I try my best to do that. Having the boat's been great. Like we did a bit of a stint Exmouth and the Ningaloo, and I would work and I'd just have to say to the team, like, I'm offline for an hour and I'd jump in the tinny. Jim would come back and get me. I'd jump in the tinny. We'd go out, do a bit of squid fishing. I'd go for a snorkel, and then like within the hour, I'm back at my desk,
Yeah.
back into it. And I think, no, they won't miss me that much. I can I can get away with it. So yeah, try and squeeze as much of that in as I can, but yeah, in all honesty, the business is very demanding. So
Yeah.
it's a
Yep.
constant trying to keep the balance. It is pretty tricky.
And I mentioned at the top of the show that it was you're from Dreamer RV. I know what Dreamer RV is, and I know a lot of people that have a van know that because they're getting great night's sleeps.
Yeah,
um,
we've been lucky enough to help thousands of travelers. It's really
yeah.
just come such a long way. So
How did it happen?
yeah, how it started, it has got a cool story. Like Jim and I are real ideas people, and all our cool ideas are normally born on our long drives. We just spend so much time in the car, and we're always just chin wagging about what about this, what about that, and that's kind of where the idea first popped up. We've had so many ideas over the years, and I always joke and say we've had a lot of half-baked ideas, and this one fully cooked. And I look at where we are now in it, and I go, "Holy smokes! How did that happen?" We just realized it was during our travels in 2019 and 2020 that we realized how much of an issue the standard caravan mattress really was. So we struggled with our own caravan mattress during that time. We just had the stock standard mattress that was issued with the van, and we really struggled to get comfy on it. I was 5 years younger back then too, so no, can't complain of kind of older age or aches and pains. Like neither of us have any injuries or anything like that, but we just could not get comfortable. And I'm a side sleeper. I'd kind of wake up with numb shoulders and hips, and I'd just find I was tossing and turning a lot during the night. So, and out of all of the families we met over that 2 year period, everybody seemed to be putting something on the bed, but there wasn't really a perfect solution. So we met people who'd kind of cut other mattress toppers, cut the corners off them and trim the side down. We met people who'd sewed up their own thing, or they've kind of tucked the excess corners around with the sheet and tried to hold it all in together.
Mhm.
We just met people with all of these wild, like, home jobs trying to fix the mattress. And I guess we just thought we had this idea. We're like, if we could design a product that fit the caravan bed and it had the round corners and, it was really designed to just add that little bit of extra softness and support that's missing from the base mattress, rolled out of a box and it fit the bed, surely people would buy it. Like we knew we would buy it because we were
Yeah.
kind of desperate for a solution like that. So that's where the idea was born. And we came back from that 2 year trip. Jim went back into a full-time role in tunneling, which was really demanding. We knew
Mhm.
what we were doing going back in. We knew we were kind of coming back for, we felt at that time, we said to people, maybe it's time to go back and start adulting. I don't know why we started to feel a little bit guilty, like we were never financially going backwards. We maintained our house and as a rental property, and like we made sure we never went backwards financially during the times we were traveling. We always worked and just worked enough, to pay our way. So there wasn't any big long-term financial sacrifice to travel, but we also had this pull, I guess. It's probably just how we're wired from our upbringing. Like, you should be adulting, you should be working hard and saving and doing and investing. And anyway, so that's why we ended up going back, and Jim went into a full-time role, and I just really sunk my teeth into this idea, and I got really obsessive about it, as I do with things sometimes. And we got back and I hit the ground running. We hadn't even moved into a house yet. We were still living in the caravan park. Jim had started work. And I remember I was already on the phone to foam suppliers and going and getting samples and having phone chats with people. And I just knew. I was like, I have to do this. This has to materialize. It took a long time to materialize. I really wanted to make sure I got it right from the beginning, and it took a lot of trial and error, a lot of sampling, quite a few different manufacturers, a few changes in the concept, in the design, in the grade of foam we were using. So many little components that got analyzed to the nth degree, and then finally I was satisfied that I got it right, and we just went all out with it. We thought, look, we're just going to get a whole sea container full of them. And yeah, we really poured all of our personal savings and everything. We went all out to win the startup.
Wow, that's a big risk, isn't it?
It was a big risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a really big risk. And yeah, I look back now, and it hasn't been without its challenges, that's for sure. But
Mm.
it's kind of funny where I find myself. Like, when I first started out, I wouldn't consider my computer literacy to even be that great. Like, I'm not really a techie person. I haven't got any formal business background. My background's actually horticulture, so I'm a
Okay.
horticulturalist by trade.
Right.
And it just makes for a really funny story.
It
People go,
does.
"Oh, so you've obviously done business, studied business or done something." And I go, "No, I haven't. Everything I've learned along the way." And there's been times where my capacity to learn has just not been enough, and what I've needed to know has exceeded that capacity at times, and I've had to bring people in with the knowledge on a
Hmm.
temporary basis to kind of fill the gaps because everything moves so quick. But I've been really committed to the learning, and what I find myself doing today is just like blows my mind. Like, I what I do on a daily basis, and I just think, holy moly, like it's so much has happened over the last 3 years. But that first shipment of product that we received, we were so lucky. It was so well received. We kind of just sent it out into the world, and it's a real funny feeling designing something from scratch and then sending it out into the
Oh
world.
yeah,
Like,
it's like having a child.
it is. And you're just waiting for the criticism and like, are people going to like it? Are they not?
Mm.
Like, by that stage, we'd been sleeping on it ourselves for such a long time. We actually had a caravan mattress pulled into our house and was sleeping on that on a bed frame with the mattress topper on top of it because we obviously were living in the house. And I was like, I need to see for myself that this thing is really the bee's
Yeah.
knees. So yeah, we were sleeping on a caravan mattress in our house for the whole time we were in that house, actually, just so we were living and breathing the experience with everyone else. But
Yeah.
it was incredibly well received, which we're so grateful for. The uptake was great, like, and it's just grown steadily since then. So within a couple of months, we were ordering again, and
Awesome.
we've got thousands, if not maybe tens of thousands out of them out in the wild now, which is hard to comprehend. And the
Yeah.
range has grown, like there's 12 different sizes now, and that range is continuing to grow. We're trying to move with the bedding trends
Mm.
because that's constantly changing. So that keeps us on our toes. The van
Yes.
manufacturers like to kind of change the bed sizes. There's no standard sizing in the caravan world for beds. They're all custom mattresses. So our aim is to cater for as many of those variations as possible. I'm constantly got a tape measure in my hand at caravan shows and every dealership we go past and everything else, just collecting data. Yeah, just to try and kind of design these sizes to cater for as many different beds as we possibly can. So the range will continue to grow. Like, there's been a big shift in the market towards the king size bed now in a lot of
Yeah.
vans. Yeah, which wasn't a thing when we first started out. So, yeah, the market's changed, and we're really committed to moving with the market and trying to meet the demand there. Definitely enough to keep us busy.
Yes. And gosh, I wouldn't have thought. I know when we were looking at a topper for our bed, and you said, What's the measurement?" I'm like, "It's just a queen size. It's a queen size caravan mattress." And I would have thought that would have been fairly standard, but obviously not.
No, it really isn't. So the north-south queen bed is definitely the most reliable size-wise. We find there's the least amount of variation in that size. There's been a trend, a real shift in a longer bed, which is closer to a truer queen. So we've just brought out a long queen topper, which is 2 meters long, which is longer, just that bit longer again than our caravan queen, which was our original. That still remains our best seller, but
Hmm.
now there has been just the market has shifted towards a slightly longer queen bed. So the length is something that still needs to be checked. The width on that style of bed's quite reliable because you've got cabinetry either side, and we find the
Yeah.
variations are minimal because there's only so much you can do in that space.
Yes.
But yeah, we just stress to everyone all the time, anyone that inquires, there's no standard sizing. So even
No.
though, and I mean, people don't know, you don't know
No.
until you get this deep into caravan bedding. But obviously, the manufacturer will sell you a van and say it's a king size bed or it's a
Yes.
queen size bed. And these beds are really just labeled with whatever they fancy or whatever it's closest to as far as domestic, but they all vary.
I mean, what I like about it, it fits really well. It does what it says it's going to do, and the actual protector goes over it as well. And it just, I would not sleep on a mattress without one.
Oh, that's great. That's the aim of the game. We do stand by our product. I am really proud of it, and yeah, I know it works because we sleep on it ourselves.
Yes.
But yeah, we're really proud to have grown the way we have. There's 5 of us now in the team.
Oh,
When I
wow.
first started out, it was obviously just me, but there's a team of us now.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing how much it's grown and flourished. We've got a an in-house marketing manager, we've got customer care staff, and we've also got the warehouse, obviously
Hmm.
operating out of Southside Brisbane,
Yep.
doing the hard yards, getting all the orders out. It's a decent sized operation these days,
Yeah.
and I've had to grow and adapt over that time. So it's not just me anymore. I find myself managing a team now, which is
That's the thing, isn't it? You've got to hire them, or well, interview them, or advertise, interview, hire them, train them.
absolutely, yeah. So it's added a whole nother dimension to what I do, really, as far
Hmm.
as coordinating a team and managing a team. But I have to say, during the times where we get a really high volume of orders or things, get quite stressful, we actually had one of those weeks last week. The warehouse kind of made a few software changes and it just caused absolute turmoil
Yeah.
like it was a nightmare. But anyway, during those times, it makes me reflect how blessed I am. I know it on a daily basis, but I've got such a capable and trustworthy team, and I just couldn't be more thankful. I've just 10 out of 10. I've not had a bad employee yet. Everyone that started has stayed, and I hope they continue to stay because our team's just fabulous. So,
Oh, that's, you must treat them
yeah.
well, because people don't stick around if they're not being treated well.
Yeah, that's true. We've got an all Australian team. Most of
Nice.
them, well, they're all remote. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's an all female team at the moment. I didn't purposely make it like that, but that's just that way it's worked out. But yeah, we do offer quite a bit of flexibility, like because I'm a mum myself, so I think, things come up. We do little roster adjustments. If you want to be at kindy and you want to watch the kindy play or the school awards, and there's a bit of flex there when you work from home, which I'm happy for people to lean into. The main thing is just the passion. Like, I'm really grateful. I am so passionate about the business, and I'm really, really grateful to have a team that reflects that outwards to the customer
Okay.
because it's not me dealing with the customer directly that often these days. So, to have a team that really accurately represents your values and how you want to operate, yeah, absolute gold. And
Yeah.
I think that's where we've hit the jackpot, really.
That's so
Yeah, because
good.
they're an extension of us, and I couldn't be prouder, to be honest. So
Yeah.
we're
Good.
very, very thankful for where we are at the moment.
Yes. Onwards and upwards as well.
Yes. It seems to be growing and changing all the time. We also do the caravan shows as a big part of it. So the last
Yes, how
12
many of those
months,
have you been doing? Excuse me.
that's all right. We've done the major shows. We've still got so many we're yet to get to, and we get constant messages. Oh, you're going to be at Adelaide? Are you going to be here? You're going to be there?
Hmm.
And there's still so many shows we haven't made it to because once you really look at the show circuit and the map there, it's just insane. You could go back to
Yes.
back doing caravan shows all year round, and they take a lot. They're very costly and just the time away from, I guess, other operations of the business. So we've been a little
Yes.
bit strategic this year with the shows that we've done. We've done the Melbourne Super Show, the Brisbane Super Show, we did the Perth Super Show, which was fabulous. That was our first time exhibiting over West,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that was really exciting because it's just a completely new market. We had so many people in Perth and the surrounds wanting to see the product, and because of the nature of it, so many people want the opportunity to touch and feel it before they buy. So
Hmm.
we've got a display bed for the shows where people can come and lay on the bed and
Oh,
actually
cool.
feel it's a caravan mattress with the caravan frame, with the slats, the whole thing. So it's a really accurate, example of what it feels like
Mhm.
on the bed. We encourage people to get on the bed and then they can decide for themselves whether it's for them or not.
Or
Yeah.
not. Yeah, that's excellent. Now, I know that we have a special discount code for anyone that's listening, and they can use all around Oz. That's capitals. Does it matter whether it's capitals or not?
I don't think it would matter whether it's capitals
Okay.
or not.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure. I always put capitals, but all around Oz at checkout, and you'll get a $15 discount, and that's for a purchase that's over $150. Thank you very much for that. I know that's going to help, especially in these times where people are watching their pennies and trying to get on the road. So every little bit in their pocket helps them.
It does. And we completely understand there's no end to the amount of accessories and little things you
Oh,
can buy for your van, especially these days. I mean, the market's just completely nuts. The amount of things out there to cater for caravans really will blow your mind. So
oh, for sure.
we absolutely appreciate that it is a bit of an expense, but it really does transform the mattress into something really great. We've actually got quite a few customers who've left reviews and said, I actually prefer the caravan bed to my home bed now. I guess they've done large, long stints in the caravan and really gotten to love that feel of our
Yes.
mattress topper. And they've actually purchased a second one and put it on their bed at home so they can kind of mimic, just go from one to the
Oh,
other
that's
and they with
hilarious.
the same feeling. So it is a thing. I not understand it's a bit of an expense, but we do spend kind of half our life on our bed sleeping, and the sleep is just so critical, especially when travel days are busy. If you got kids, like we were talking about before, normal
Hmm.
life doesn't stop. It can be pretty fast paced, and then you add in all of this adventure. You might be hiking, snorkeling, fishing, you're doing all of this physical activity. I just think it's absolutely worth being comfortable and getting the best possible sleep you can.
Yeah, hands down. Couldn't agree with you more.
My vision long term is to have them as a standard issue. So if you buy a
Yeah.
caravan, I think you should be given one from the dealership. So that's something
Yes.
we're working on. I would
Awesome.
absolutely love to see them rolled out as kind of a standard accessory so that everybody can benefit from it straight away. That's a vision we'll just see. We'll keep chipping away and hopefully
Yeah,
it
that's all you
becomes
can
a
do.
reality.
Oh, that's so good. I love that story, and thank you. I know you're very busy, so I do appreciate you giving up some time today to come and talk to me and explain what your travels have been like and how the business was born. It's been great. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for having me. It's been wonderful.